Okay, hey everyone. It's Wednesday. Wednesday. Oh my gosh. It is Tuesday. It's Tuesday. You're here at the weekly Chaos Community Call. It's November 18th, and happy to see everybody here. I'm going to share this as always. Here we go. Reminder, this is under the Chaos Code of Conduct, so keep that in mind as well. You don't need to turn your camera on, obviously. We do not care here. It's really whatever you want. This is a very casual kind of meeting. We're just here to chit chat and share community news and just kind of say hi to each other. So, and also learn what your favorite sport is. That's very important as well. So, if you want to add what sport you like, that would be great. Yes, Dawn, I think running is absolutely a sport. So that counts. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's talk about this. We don't need to decide today, but I just wanted to start talking about it. We typically do take a break around the holidays at the end of the year. And this is in alignment with what we did last year, which was we had meetings the first week of December and then the second week on, and then we came back at the like the second week of January. So yeah, so this is what I'm proposing. Yeah, what do we all think?
I love it. I love breaks.
It-
Me too.
With that said, though, I might actually need to keep the OSPO working group meeting because I think maybe I have a speaker for that first week. But I need to double check that.
Okay,
It's
that
a,
is.
I
Oh,
will,
go
I will
ahead.
let you. I will let you know if I want to keep it. How's that?
it's a, and it's a cultural norm that we do this, so I think it's pretty easy to say that we're going to do it. Similarly with Augur 8 Knot, I'll probably, I can't remember what specific cadence it's on, but we'll probably have those to mid-December, just because there's a lot of active work that happens in those calls.
Super fair, super fair. And I think we did that last year too. I believe the
Yeah,
UN group had one extra meeting because they had some momentum going. They didn't want to stop. So, and totally valid, super valid. But just like officially from the main chaos stuff.
100%.
So I will just put on here, just let Elizabeth know what you're doing so we can communicate with people. And I assume that, in your own working groups, like, oh, bye, Damien, see you later. In the working groups, y'all communicate with each other, so you kind of can figure it out if you want. Does anybody have questions or any other comments about this? And we'll circle this around next week. We'll communicate that as well next week just to make sure people know. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm a big fan of breaks as well. It's this time of year, it just is a lot. So, oh, excellent. Thanks, Anonymous Dinosaur, whoever you might be.
Oh, that's me. I'm logged in, so it's weird that I'm an anonymous dinosaur, but
It's okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Harmony has a report to give about the technical writing workshop that they hosted a few weeks ago for Hacktoberfest. Harmony, do you want to run? Do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to share my screen from here?
Hi,
What's easy?
Elizabeth. I prefer you share your screen actually.
You prefer me to share it?
Yes, I
Okay,
do. Thank you.
no worries. Let's do this. You
Okay.
just tell me when to move the slide.
So I think you can move the slide. Yeah, hi everyone. Good day. Uh Sorry I'm on the road, but I can do this. It was actually a very pleasant session we had last few weeks, and kudos to the team and the contributors, everyone involved. We had about 11 speakers, which stood out to six talks and four breakout rooms. Yeah, Libe, you can go like to the next slide. These are like the beautiful people that spoke that day. Sean, a lot of amazing persons. Yeah. Libe, can you hear me?
yes, we hear you.
Okay, so these are like the core analytics. I'm just going to run them through. We had 11 speakers, just like I mentioned, seven talks rather, and four breakout sections, right? We're able to have over 170 people register, and these people came from represented from 12 countries. We had 40 plus person live in attendance on the call the day we did the workshop. We had about, by analytics of registration, it was about 57.8% that were women and 42.2% that were men. Nobody decided to keep the agenda out of the registration form. Me and Mary Blessing hosted as a virtual host the day of the conference. We just interchange and introduce speakers and then keep the place lively while we're getting other stuff done. The core contributors was me, Mary Blessing, Mutirayo from the Technical Writers Focus Group, Ford Adegoke from the Technical Writers Focus Group, Kingsley and his team from the provided design. They helped us with design all around, from speaker flyer to the main flyer that we use for publicity and a lot of other stuff. So far, based off an analysis, we have had about 15 to 20% join the community, and we've already had like 2 or 3% already in the technical writers focus group willing to also contribute. And we're working on an article that would give like an overview of what we did on that particular day so far. We also had a link, sorry, I didn't add that here, a link to a GitHub file that presented all the slides from the speakers and also stuff from the informations basically about the workshop. We are currently working on a technical bank resources, a resource bank that would help technical writers translation properly. We had a lot of requests for that. And yes, so far, basically that's what we did so far at the workshop a few weeks ago. These are like the core analytics. So I needed to present it before we do any public posting and all of that. Thank you, everyone. I don't know if there's any question. Yeah, these are special moments, just galleries. And then, yeah, just snapshots of screens, basically. But yeah, thank you, everyone. Any question, I'm willing to answer. Happy October 1st. You guys hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
I think we're just quiet today. Seems like a subdued group. This is fantastic, though. I said something in chat, like this just looks absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks
Yeah,
to the
excellent work.
volunteers.
Excellent work there, Harmony and team, and Mary Blessing and team. Really fantastic. My only question is this something that you think you might do again, either next year for Hacktoberfest or, just some other time?
So we have been having a monthly series this year before now where we come on Twitter Space X to talk about several topics with several speakers. And while I've been recording like analytics, right, we have over, based on Twitter stats, we have over 20,000 people that have, tuned in and listened to the recording so far. So I think it could be something that we'll do next year, maybe another type of workshop to help people, maybe not Hacktoberfest again. But yeah, we might just spin up something just like we did last year and this year.
Yeah, that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. So excellent work to everybody. Thank you so much for all of that. That is just
Yep.
fantastic.
Well, I have a question. The
Yeah.
question I have is, what are we going to do with like the data, like over 100 plus email addresses in the database? Do we have like chaos newsletters that we could like put them there or something? Because these are datas and I don't know. I'm just saying.
So two things on that. One is if they didn't opt in to anything, we can't use those. Like they would have to explicitly say, yes, sign me up for something. They just agreed to sign up for the event. that we just hosted. So we can't really do much with them in that way. We also don't have, like, our newsletter is just on GitHub now. So it was just an RSS feed. So there's no like sign up or anything. You would just have that feed in your RSS reader. What we could do, if you haven't done already, is just send like a thank you email to them. Thank you for attending, and let them know how they can get involved in the community. I'm guessing you probably already did that since you have mentioned how many people have come to the community from this event. But if not, that would be what you could do with those emails. Otherwise, we don't save those. We don't add them to anybody. We don't really do anything with that because we don't have their permission.
Okay, we'll just discard them. But yeah, we've already sent like a thank you mail.
And if you wanted to say, yeah, here's where you can join the community. If you wanted to point them to our GitHub newsletters, that could be a link for them, or like our newcomer quick start. Any of those kind of newcomer resources would be excellent too.
Okay, that would be helpful. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's a good question. Any other final comments for Harmony or Mary Blessing on this? Is Mary Blessing here? Oh, I don't see her. Okay, so I guess
This is
just
how when
you.
you're sharing.
Okay, well, thank you again. Yeah, that was excellent, Harmony. Really great. And when you said you're working on, sorry, one more question. You're working on a blog post, you said, for that? Did you say that?
Yes, yes. The focus group, we're working like an overview blog post. Once that's ready, I would share with you.
Okay, sounds excellent. All right, let's go on. Adrian says he's curious about AI and the Chaos Code of Conduct. Ooh, tell us more, Adrian. What are you thinking about?
Yeah, this is probably wildly off topic for this particular meeting, but I've been sort of getting involved. I've been sort of heavily working in Augur, I mean, for the last few months, but there's definitely been quite a lot of newcomers to our repositories as well. And I think there's a lot of them are either angling after Google Summer of Code 2026 or just generally trying to contribute, but they don't really know the code base and are sort of leaning quite heavily on AI. And so I think I made a proposal for, hey, at least like, hey, we should kind of require people to disclose what they're doing. And I was just sort of curious. I didn't see that the Chaos Code of Conduct was especially long or had stuff for this. I was just curious, like, is there a specific
I
meeting
feel
or forum to potentially talk about that in?
is is this more of a we have a data privacy policy? Is this more like a separate policy that we would create?
Have you read, yeah, I guess have you read any of the discussions and stuff? Because I mean, it's most of the discussions is like, how are we going, how would this functionally look like? And I guess that's what Adrian tried
Yeah.
to talk about now. Like, what does this look like? What do we need to do to be able to do this within Augur? And we're starting to think transparently, this is conversations that's happening in Red Hat's OSPO pretty regularly. It's like, how do we go about AI contributions disclosure? How do we go about measuring AI contributions? Um, I think that the issue is a really interesting read. There's a lot of stuff that Adrian has like written out in there that I think is like I hadn't really
Yeah.
seen talked
I've been
about and
yeah.
mentioned in the way that he has done. But to like kind of summarize where it seems like we're kind of landing is a like kind of a checkbox or something very low effort to say this is either AI or I think this is more of what where my opinion comes in AI generated or AI assisted, and then a little area to say how you used it. So then the reviewers have the context when they go to review the code or the PR to take that mental load off the reviewer, and so that it's a more equal, like instead of like wondering how is this being used, I think it takes a lot of um mental load off of a maintainer. And I do think that it holds a level of accountability that when people are for are asked or forced to say how they're using it, I think people are a little bit more apt to maybe look at their own code a little bit and review it a little bit because it is a problem, I think, across repositories where PRs are getting open, where the reviewers are the first ones ever human eyes reviewing some code, and that it gets
Yeah.
old really quickly and very time consuming very quickly.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
also,
the PRs on Augur have gone through the roof in the last 2 months, which is, I think, part of what's got Adrian asking some of these questions.
well, so actually, I mostly was wanting to bring this up just because, like, I mean, yeah, that's all good context for like kind of what's happening at the project level. I'm sort of just more wondering, like, I mean, I don't know if we necessarily need to be putting AI specific things in the chaos wide code of conduct, but I want to definitely kind of figure out, is there language we can put in the code of conduct that would help support the enforcement of sort of project level, like working group level policies on this, um, so that like, hey, like if a contributor is really just egregiously wasting maintainers' time or otherwise potentially impacting the health of the Augur project, we could fall back on the CHAOSS code of conduct and be like, no, you've violated this to such an extent that like we're going to refer this to the code of conduct committee or something like that, like to kind of just provide a foundation or like a backstop for, so that like once things go beyond the level that project maintainers can enforce, like there's kind of another level to go. It's kind of that's kind of the idea, like what, like is there ways to like place to discuss kind of those changes?
Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
Um, to your point, Adrian, I wonder if it would be lighter weight if we had like an AI policy. And in my experience on chaos, to the extent that we don't feel that we have to enforce something, it's easier to build a shared practice around it. In other words, like, yeah, I agree with Don's comment that I don't think it belongs in the code of
Yeah.
conduct. I'm trying to say it more softly. I just think it's a separate policy for like AI use. And
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's kind of what I was doing originally, because I think we were going to
yeah,
originally say like, hey, there's a checkbox in the PR template that then refers to like something in the Augur project contributing file, like, hey, this is
yeah.
sort of our guidelines. If you want to contribute with AI, here's how you do it sort of responsibly,
And so
and
that,
have it be like a project level policy. So yeah, if it doesn't make sense, and I was seeing a lot of these like LF guidance and stuff. I was gonna use that to develop sort of the project level of it.
I mean, from an Augur perspective, it would be great if the Chaos Project just adopted a straightforward AI policy that we could follow. And obviously on Augur, like you said, Adrian, we would like one where people do disclose, or we at least ask them to, for all the reasons that you and Callie ran down.
Yeah.
So I think your question though is how do we do this? Because it has been a while since we created a new one of these. So is it a sitch where maybe if somebody like Adrian or myself or Callie or a group work together to create a draft of something, then we would review it as a community? I mean, is that I'm not sure what the process is to like take this to the next step because I think we have to go to a next step
I mean,
regardless of what the policy says.
I was largely planning on just sort of writing something, at least for the Augur contributing file. Um, I think whether or not Chaos potentially wants to just say like we're going to adopt the LF policy that I'm seeing is linked here. Um, I mean that would require reading through that, and maybe that could be something for the Chaos level, but maybe separating those out too. I know there's actually I've been talking to the AI alignment working group last week, and so a bunch of the links, like David's link in chat, I think there's already a little thread going in Slack with like 7 or 8 different projects policies and stuff that I'm planning to look at to kind of I mostly need to find time to like write the first draft of this so that people can review it. But it sounds like maybe this chaos wide discussion is maybe not quite maybe it's not quite the good place for it. But if someone else wants to help draft the initial first passes, like I'm open to having
Well, I
help because
mean,
I've
I think we would love for you to draft it, Adrian. We have full confidence. Um, you've been looking into this quite deeply. As Kelly pointed out, you've got quite a record in the chats there, just kind of thinking this through. So if you have something, I think that would be great for us to discuss as a starting point and just see how people feel about the starting point.
And someone has to write the first draft, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it'll be easier for other people, I think, to provide feedback. But I think it would be great to have a chaos-wide AI
Right.
policy that
I agree.
encompasses Augur and other things. And Adrian, we'd love your help with that. I think that'd be great.
Sounds good.
Other comments? Okay. Thanks for volunteering to do that, Adrian. I don't know if we just voluntold you, but we appreciate your efforts
I
nonetheless.
mean,
Colin,
I did offer, but like
Okay.
also a little bit like I've been kind of I think lot of this is a little bit of a sidetrack because it's just like I'm trying to like work on bugs and things with Augur, and then it's like trying to triage all the newcomer stuff, and so it's like having
Yeah.
the policy would help reduce my time in the future, but it's like finding time to do that now is a little tricky.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the trade-off every time.
But it's like I'm not going to be able to find time to do it now until I do this, so it's like
It's
it's
like a,
just a
yeah.
whole impossible Tetris.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. This time of year is a little bit. So,
So would
I
it?
mean, if it helps if you want to wait till like the break, that's also valid. You know, we're on your time schedule, so whenever it's convenient for you to work on this is totally
Yeah.
fine.
I know Sean was saying in chat like one policy makes more sense just for ease of management in a large
Yeah.
GitHub org. I think I'm mostly planning on writing this sort of primarily with Augur in mind. Would it make more sense for me to kind of write something that's I mean I guess it might end up being pretty general anyway, but like
Yeah,
should I write it from the chaos perspective and try and just make one whole org policy and then it just happens to apply to chaos to Augur?
uh, I,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe. I'm hedging.
Yeah, it matters. Like I would say, do it the way that your brain works. My brain would be, I'm gonna do this with the scope of Augur, and then once I have something to work with, then you do the edits from there to make it a wider scope. But some people's brain works the opposite. So I would just say, do it the way that seems like the lowest barrier of entry of getting a first draft.
Yep, sounds good.
And to Don's point, we could just put it right in here, you know?
Yeah, because the community repo already has like our data ethics statement, our data use statement, like all of our other like chaos
Policies.
policies. So I think it would be great to have it there and have it apply to everything. But if it's easier to write the first draft with just kind of Augur in mind, we can expand it and other people can help. I would say write the first draft with whatever's easiest for you, and then the rest of us can help you out.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, to I think Sean's point too, I'm not sure how other people are contributing to other PRs necessarily across the community. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I can
Okay.
always take some. I think there was the AI alignment working group mentioned like I think the contributor covenant is like it's intentionally written with sort of gaps of as far as like they say like oh you're supposed to be responsible with like you're supposed to disclose or be like give proper attribution, but they're intentionally not specifying what proper attribution is so that a project that's using their policy can define it specifically in their context. So maybe some of that could work too with like a chaos wide policy that's just like be responsible and then it's up to Augur to specify like okay with in terms of the code this is what responsible means.
Mm,
But yeah, sounds good.
yeah. What other comments do we have? Great topic. Thanks for bringing that up, Adrian. Okay, and it looks like we have an intro. Yes. Hi. Go for it.
Sorry. I hope my voice is coming through okay.
Yep.
It is.
It will take a while for my camera to adjust because my computer is janky. Everything is janky. But my name is Sitong. I'm a grad student at SU. I've kind of been lurking in the community for a while, and I thought I should probably give myself an introduction. So I'm a grad student. I'm trying to pursue my degree in anthropology, and I've been interested in looking at open source space and maybe software freedom, um, and a combination of both. I'm not quite sure what exactly I will write about because my interests have always been kind of all over the place. I've been following like a few trends. I'm taking an AI class right now, but we've been mostly looking at like the environmental impact and um, like the human labor behind data coding and training of AI. Um, so I might be interested in helping with the AI policy draft, although it's the end of semester and I'm just struggling to survive grad school. So we'll see how much of that I can help out. I have a background in public health, so I did a bit of like R for public health kind of data. I'm refreshing on my knowledge on R and Python in the spring with some of the classes I'm hoping to take. So I'm hoping I can contribute more with more of the data science working group. Uh, but I was also considering doing an independent study in the spring because none of the classes offered here look interesting to me. So if there's anything you can use an anthropologist for in this group, I could potentially squeeze it in and get credit for it so I can avoid taking anthropology classes.
I love the way you think. I love that. I was just going to say you might be interested in that AI alignment working group as well, because I think there's a lot of like human overlap, human behavioral overlap in that, and making sure that AI is safe and not doing harm to humans. I think that's a bit of that, and especially with regards to community, open source community health. So yeah, I can send you on Slack some information about that group if you haven't seen that before. If that would be helpful.
That would be helpful.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a new group too, so it's still kind of, sorting itself out as to what things they want to work on and all of that. So you're coming in at a really good time as well. So welcome. Yay. Thanks for being here. And there's a lot of comments in the chat there too, if you didn't see those. So welcome. Okay, we have a few reminders. I'm going to wrap this up because we do have some CHAOSScon committee stuff to talk about in a second. But here are the reminders. Of course, CHAOSScon EU, save the date, January 29th, 2 days before FOSDEM. The FOSDEM DevRoom CFPs, some of them are closing December 1st. I think a few of them are. So if you are interested in submitting a talk for that, for a specific DevRoom, make sure you check that out. And then of course, Scale is in March, and there's also a December 1st deadline on that. So it's a great conference as well. I love Scale. Any final questions, comments, discussions before we wrap up today? Okay. All right. So if you're on the CHAOSScon committee, please stick around. Everybody else, you are free to go. And I hope you have a good day. See y'all later. I'm going to stop the recording.